This session is about getting your buyers and sellers from stuck to sold. And what I'm going to share with you is 10 strategies, and then break down each strategy based on time. And then if you have questions, you can either interrupt me, or at the end, if we have some time, you could feel free to chime in. The first thing is that I want to share with you is that time is going to be your greatest enemy. All leaders, all people in business who win, they strike with the highest sense of urgency. And you might have heard this in the past, but law number 18, leaders don't wait. In other words, it's better for you to make a mistake and take action than for you to kind of be paused or want to have the most perfect outcome, but miss the opportunity because you waited too long. So strike with the highest sense of urgency. Let's jump into number 1 on the 10 strategies of how to move your buyers and sellers from stuck to sold. And let me see, are there any shout outs that I got to make out here? Houston, Texas. We got OKC. All right. Florida. Look at that. Florida's representing St. George. Beautiful. Wow. We got the whole country here. So the first thing is force the decision frame. And I'll break that down what I mean, but force the decision frame. Number 2, create a deadline. And you might be doing some of these. Any additionals that you're not doing, pick them up. So 1, force the decision frame. 2, create a deadline. 3, show the cost of waiting. 4, remove fear with a reversible plan. 5, give your buyers and sellers 3 options, not sometime, all the time. Whenever we only offer 1 is when we kind of have them being stuck because they got to make a big decision with only 1 choice. Number 6, show real market proof. That's probably one of the most important ones. Show real market proof. And again, I'll break these down in detail in a moment. Number 7, ask the commitment question. Number 8, visualize the outcome. Not for you, help them visualize their outcome. Number 9, break the decisions into micro steps. And number 10 is use the next step close. Anyone know what the next step close is? Yes, no, maybe? I like that. We got one head bobbing. So the next step close is never end the meeting without a step. In other words, should we draft the offer tonight? Or better yet, should we aim to go live by next Thursday? And I'm giving you a buyer and seller. These are questions. The better questions you ask, the more income you're going to generate. The more influence you have, the more income you're going to generate. The greater problem you solve, the more income you're going to generate. Now let's go back to number 1, because I know I spoke fairly fast. Forcing the decision frame. So what questions will be asked to help someone force the decision frame? First thing is, what was to happen for you to feel confident about making the decision? In other words, what needs to happen for you to feel comfortable to make the decision? That would be one of the questions that you should ask all your buyers and sellers. What needs to happen for you to feel comfortable about making the decision? This way they can share with you what the expected outcome is that they desire. And then you as the professional, you as the licensed practitioner, not as a salesperson, you as the licensed practitioner will be able to help them create that decision. I love that. These notes are fast. 2, or actually going back to forcing the decision frame, if the right home appeared today, would you act? We need to have the answers to these for you to know, are you investing your time with the right people, or are they just kind of burning your time to work with someone else, or they're not really ready to make that decision? And you need to know with a temperature check of how far along they are in this process, or how much influence you have to help them make the decision. Number 2, when I said creating a deadline. For your buyers, the example would be homes like this average X days on the market. So you're showing them, if someone likes a home or they've seen a series of homes as a buyer, you're giving them the time frame of how long the homes stay on the market. And most likely, let's just say it's 30 days, 40 days, 70 days, whatever it is in your market, it's unlikely you're going to show that house the first day that it's out. It's likely that it's been out already for a couple of weeks or maybe at least a few days. So those days are going to work against them by delaying the process. Then the other example for your sellers is if we were to launch before X date, for example, if we were to launch before April 1st, we can capture the next buyer cycle. You're creating visuals of what the expense or the cost or the risk is by waiting. I started off by mentioning that you have to create a sense of urgency. You have to operate and strike with a high sense of urgency. So time is your greatest enemy. Number 3, I mentioned show the cost of waiting. This is one that we fail to do, but whenever you provide analogy, especially with visuals, you're helping that person make the decision by seeing it versus by just listening to you. So an example is a $900,000 home. If rates were to rise for your buyers for a $900,000 home, if rates were to rise by 0.5%, your payment could increase by $250 to $300 a month. Or you could save by about $3,000 a year. You have to create what is the loss by them waiting. And if it's a seller, you want to get them to list or move forward. If the market was to drop by 3 to 5%, that's close to a $35,000 to $50,000 loss. Who wants to lose 50 grand because they got to wait to make the decision? Remember this, whenever you're in front of a prospect or a client and you've discussed this opportunity, they had intent of taking action. Because if people don't have intent of taking action, they wouldn't spend their time to entertain you. But the reason why they don't take action immediately is because the longer they wait, there is a law called the law of diminishing intent. And your intent diminishes over time the longer you wait. And this applies to all of us for all decisions. Number 4, I mentioned remove the fear with a reversible plan. Most people are scared or have a feeling of uncertainty. So give them that certainty by doing the following. For your buyers, why don't we write an offer with XYZ contingencies? That gives them the out if they're not 100% comfortable, but at least you move the needle forward in getting the offer in. Many of us as a buyer's agent or those that are trying to help our buyers purchase a property investment, their first home, multiple homes, whatever it might be, we leave it on them of, okay, well, let me know whenever you're ready to write an offer and I'll make sure I'm the best agent to get you the best deal. Instead, move them forward. You're holding their hand, walking them across the street. Submit the offer because that doesn't commit anything when you're placing contingencies, nothing. There's zero risk, but letting everyone know that we're serious about going to the negotiation table. For your sellers, if our sellers are hesitant, they're waiting. Usually it's an emotional connection to the property. But if they're waiting, one of the statements that I would use is, well, we can list at X price and adjust it after 14 days if needed. Give them the feeling that, again, they don't have to come up with the amount that they desire to sell the home for in stone at the time that it lists. And I have a property out there. I don't want to plug it just to give myself kudos, but if you look it up, you'll see this listing price has varied for some time, but it's still on the market. It's still my listing. It's a win. And plus, whenever you get a listing out there, you're going to generate leads, team. You must list to exist. If you never heard that before, that's a very true statement. You must list to exist. Number 5, give them 3 options, never 1. I mean, think about all the options we have whenever we purchase. And for a buyer, 3 examples. 1 is we can submit, would you like to submit an aggressive offer? Would you like to submit a market offer? Or would you like to submit a wait strategy? They're still picking one. For your sellers, 3 options. Would you like to price to sell fast? Do you want to price for a market test? Or would you like to go with the aspirational price? I'm here to serve you. See, what we fear about as agents is by going to the market at the wrong price because our property might sit too long or we might lose the client. Well, let me remind you, if you don't get that contract signed, you never had the client to begin with. So let's at least get them in the door and then start the negotiation process. Number 6, show real market proof. So recent comps, we all do this. Current pending homes, buyer demand stats, and days on market. Know your stats in those 4 areas, or know those stats in your area to be able to leverage them in your favor, both for buyer and seller. So for example, 3 homes like this went pending this week. That would work for your sellers. This way they know that if more inventory is coming, your house is going to have less eyes on there. It's going to have a lot more competition. Number 7, asking the commitment question. Most agents avoid this because we're afraid of the rejection. But the commitment question is for the buyers. If this home was to be $25,000 cheaper or less expensive, would you like to write an offer today? So throw out, and I'm using numbers for California. I know some pockets we have homes that are $300,000 on average. So you might want to change numbers that applies to you, but throw an example out there for them to give you a yes or no. This way, if they say yes, you at least have an idea of what's going to work for them. If they say no, you know how far away you are from moving the deal forward. And one of the most important details that I want you to recognize is placing value on your time. Especially if you've not made a significant amount of money, start to operate like people are paying you a very high amount for you to be their licensed practitioner. Don't just chase folks because you don't have folks. Start to recognize and place a higher value on your time in front of the folks that you're able to connect with. For your sellers, this is going back again for asking the commitment question for your sellers. If we had a buyer at X dollars, would you sell? This way we know exactly what we're working towards. One of the most difficult scenarios to put yourself in is when you're listing a property and then you get an offer and you're excited to go to your seller, your client, and tell them the offer, and they're like, I don't want that. And you're like, are you crazy? It's only like a few $1,000s difference in what we wanted. Or we don't have that many other offers coming in. Yet we did not gauge where they would be because we didn't ask that prior question. So if we were to have a buyer at X dollars, would you sell? You figure these out before the fact. So then you know exactly what you're working with. Number 8, visualizing the outcome. So for your buyers, imagine moving in before summer. Imagine moving in before summer. When someone tells you, oh no, we're actually looking to buy our home around Thanksgiving, you should probably start going with some other clients. Or better yet, try to move them up a season. Or for your sellers, picture closing and having the cash for your next step. Picture closing and having the cash for your next step. Tell me what that looks like. Better yet, some of our sellers don't even know what that looks like. Help them visualize it because you're the person in their mind that's helping them get there. Number 9, breaking the decisions into micro steps. So how are we doing that? For your clients that are wanting to sell, instead of saying, hey, well, by this date, are you ready to list? Or I'm going to go ahead and send you the e-docs for us to list your home appropriately, etc. Ask questions like a litmus test of, for example, let's schedule photos. Even before you get the listing contract, let's schedule photos. Now, if your client's like, what are you talking about? You didn't list my home. You're like, don't worry about it. We're going to schedule photos and I'll make sure to bring the paperwork at that time and we'll go through the contract together. This way you can go through the objections if they don't even want to list with you then and there. But it started by offering to schedule photos. 2, let's prepare the disclosures. So if you don't want to get into the photo area, maybe you guys are doing your own photos. You don't have someone that's going to come out there and help you take care of the photos without a spend up front. Then why don't we take care of the disclosures already? Help them with the administrative process of the transaction to see where they fall. And of course, 3, the last one in that case of breaking the decision into micro steps, 3 would be, let's set the price. What you're doing is you're moving small steps to create momentum. Number 10, using the next step close, which is what we mentioned in the beginning. Should we draft the offer tonight? That's for your buyers. Should we draft the offer tonight? For your sellers, should we aim to go live by next Thursday? Should we aim to go live by next Thursday? Again, the stronger and better questions you ask, the more income you're going to make. So here's the most powerful question for both buyers and sellers. What's actually holding you back from moving forward right now? What's holding you back from moving forward right now? Now, of course, you don't want to memorize all these questions and rapid fire all of them because they're going to get lost and confused. But pick the ones that you're most comfortable at. Pick the ones that you have rehearsed and know how to overcome the objections the greatest at and deliver them. You're going to start to get a lot of positive feedback that's going to guide you to guide them to the expected outcome. The reason why most of our clients are stagnant or don't move from buying and submitting an offer or from listing with you, first, of course, is trust. But assuming that we've overcome trust is the fear of making the wrong decision. Like us, many of us were afraid of uncertainty. We're afraid of uncertainty. But how many decisions have we said yes to that essentially came back to hurt us? Not many. Now, I know some of you might be nodding your head and said, oh yeah, I've made that mistake. I've made that mistake. But hopefully those were learning opportunities and not a loss. Because I believe some win, some learn. I don't believe anyone loses. Some win, some learn. How are we doing so far, team? Am I going too fast? I see this note taker memorizing and spitting out the details for you, so you'll have this. We good? Any questions?
I wanted to ask you, yeah, number 5, when you were saying the sellers, you said, would you like to price it to sell fast? Do you want to test the market? What was the third option that you said? It sounded really good.
Thank you. Can I get your name? Who said that? Because I don't see on this because so many folks here, but just your name.
Sorry. Yeah, Peter.
Peter, thanks for that question. So number 5 was give them 3 options for the seller. Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, please.
Okay, so for the seller, option A is, do you want to price to sell fast? Option B is, would you like to market test? And option 3 is, would you like to go with your aspirational price? So the way you'd frame this is, instead of saying option A, B, or C, I would say, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, would you like to sell your home? Would you like to price your home to sell it quickly? Or would you like us to sell it at market price? Or more importantly, maybe for you, the aspirational price? Which is the most preferred for you? And then they might say, well, what does that mean? Or they're going to say, well, I'd like to get X amount of dollars. Those are both great answers for you to move the needle forward. Did that help, Peter?
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. You're very welcome. Where are you tuning in from, Peter?
Eastville?
Eastville. Welcome.
Thanks.
Cool. Next question, team. Any other questions? We got more. I just want to overwhelm you.
I think it's interesting.
I want to talk about number 7.
Number 7. Let's do it. Who was that?
All right. I'm Tarek.
Tarek, good to see you again, Tarek. Tell me, number 7. Let's talk about it. You want me to mention what they are?
All right. So when you're asking a seller, like, no, I want to say that things change, and I don't want to, like a seller would tell me, I will never sell for anything less than 980. And in next week, he's signing on 930. I don't want to make all my moves based on the 980 when I know that things might change. I like to go with the fact that it's a case by case. And do they really need to sell? Are they fine with staying? There's a lot of factors. It's always like a case by case when it comes for pricing.
Yeah. So let's role play real quick. You want to be the seller, right? And I'll be the agent.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay. So you're not giving me the opportunity yet, but I'm going to deliver to you and say, well, if we had a buyer at 950, would you sell?
Oh, no, impossible. I need more.
Perfect. What do you need?
At least 40 more than that.
40 more? All right. So you're looking for 990?
Yeah.
Great. Let me ask you this, Tarek. Sorry, I was going to say Peter. Tarek, if I was to get you 950 and you want 990, what would you want to do with that $40,000 variance that I'm not able to deliver on? Just so I understand.
I think it's what it's worth. I shouldn't sell for less.
Okay, fair enough. Well, what I could do for you is we can go to market at 990 or the number you want, a 990. But generally, I'd like to let you know that the market will dictate what your home is worth, but I will do my best to get you the 990 figure. If we don't deliver that, you're not committed to selling. Fair enough?
Well, I need to sell it, but I need you to get me the highest price.
Tarek, I understand. We're going to go to market at 990. You're not committed to selling it if I can't get you that number. Fair enough?
Okay.
Sounds good. So I just got the client. I have no challenge with that. Let's go. I'm going to have a listing tomorrow for 990. What am I going to do? I have a whole bunch of agents that are going to text me and say, oh, you overpriced that home. You suck. You're like, okay, well, great. Thanks for checking out. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. But you know what else is going to happen? You're going to have buyers and sellers that aren't agents that are going to find you and say, this guy's getting all the listings. Maybe you should sell our house. Or better yet, this guy has his home for sale. Why don't we call him or contact him without an agent, see if he can get us a good deal, a better deal. He can work both sides of the transaction. So here you are with a 990 opportunity that you're listing. And if you dual end the deal, you could leverage your commissions to get them whatever the net sales would have been that they desired, because you have more skin in the game to use those numbers. But if you didn't get the listing, you wouldn't have that opportunity. So I'm not here to challenge them. I'm here to serve them.
Hey, Sina, I have a question.
One second.
Okay.
No, that's okay. I got your back, but I want to make sure that I'm good with Tarek before we continue.
No, that's actually a great answer.
I appreciate that, man. And thank you for tuning in while you're driving. I respect that. Be safe. Tessa?
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sina. This has been awesome. I was just curious, at what point do you walk away from a listing, or when you're on an appointment and you're going over the comps and you know that the seller wants 100,000 over what the market value is? at what point do you walk away and say, this might not be for me? I don't, want to potentially do
That's
this.
an excellent question. And the answer to that will be dependent on where my business lies. If my business lies to where I have an abundant pipeline and I'm kicking ass, then the value of my time is greater.
Okay.
But we create that outcome through the activity we did, for example, a year ago, 3 years ago. It doesn't happen tomorrow. So based on all your activity, which I witnessed and I see, congratulations. I believe you have the confidence to move them to the number that's going to be worth your while. And you will have the gut feeling to be like, you know what? I'm going to risk losing 20 grand here, but in exchange, it didn't burn 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever amount of your time, ending in a neutral or negative result.
100%.
However,
absolutely answered my
most
question.
of the time, though, I would like to do my best to have them walk across the street and meet me. And if I need to, I will go and hold their wrist and walk them over if I need to. I won't keep shouting if they don't hear me clearly. So
sure.
it really depends, but I'm very flexible to lean in towards my client, because once they work with me, I will earn more of their trust to listen to me, to trust me. And when we go to market and it's super priced or overpriced, then we can at least go back a week later and show them stats of, well, look at these properties, look how fast they sold, look how many views they got, look at the offers they got, look at all the marketing we've done, and we're not moving, in our favor. What's your thoughts on doing this? And then this would be another strategy. But
Definitely.
That's still better to do that than to have never gotten the opportunity at all to get there.
Yeah. It's just sometimes you meet with people that they're not going to adjust the price. Like they're very stuck on their number. So that's I'm like, oh, especially in my farm, I'm like, I don't really want to take $100,000 over at what the market value would be listing, because I could do 25 open houses there and never get any activity on it. So
you're correct. Another value though for you to have that listing is inventory. So even if it's overpriced, don't worry about what agents feel about you as the expert for overpricing it, because professionals know that we have to accommodate our clients. And if it was up to us, even though we want to get our clients the most return, we also want to be able to sell our inventory the quickest we can. I mean, at least that's what a strategic business advisor would want for their own organization. So yeah, if we got to stack inventory because our sellers are patient and willing to wait, that's just giving us exposure to get more leads. I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you have you ever had a situation where you've listed a home from your perspective overpriced, but it ended up selling? Like I've had that before, where I was like, there's no way this home's going to sell for this price. And then it just magically sells. And so we've been in situations like that. And I also have friends that will list property, and I've done this too, where that property doesn't sell, but because of that, you pick up other buyers and sellers. And then eventually, if they are motivated enough, they'll correct their price to get it sold. If not, then you were able to at least get value out of that opportunity to list that home.
Yeah, I'll share with you. I'm in that predicament right now. I took a listing that the seller wanted 5.6 million. It was 600,000 more than I recommended. I recommended we go to market 49999. I mean, I just knew 5.6 was too high, but I wanted the listing. I got the listing. I went 90 days, 3 offers, all lowball offers. She fired me. She hired another agent. The other agent got the listing at 4.8999. The other agent couldn't sell it. She called me back. It's on the market right now for 465, and we're going to get offers within a couple of weeks. But if I never accepted going to market at 5.6 and having all these professionals tell me it's overpriced, what are you thinking? All the feedback that all I said was, thanks for checking out the property. Thanks for clicking the link. Thanks for driving more people to my brand. I appreciate you. I would have never had the opportunity right now of $130,000 commission for me selling it. If I double end the deal, $250,000. I mean, people make that in a year if they're kicking ass in most careers. There is an example right there of being vulnerable or taking a property price point that is too high, but you want the business.
And Sina, how do you explain to the client then? Are you saying to them after, like, hey, we're getting all this feedback and we're way overpriced, and then she ditched you and then came back, and then you're like, are you going to listen to me now? Like, how do you have that conversation?
Well, fortunately, she called me and said, after I relieved you, all the other agents that I interviewed recommended a price lower than 499 because they wanted to sell it. She accepted going with a lower offer. And fortunately, those agents didn't sell it. So after 90 days or whatever window she gave them, she followed back up with me and said, look, if I'm going to reduce the price, it's deserving to give it to you because that's what you recommended, and you're willing to take the chance with me at 5.6. And I respect that. And most sellers, I feel they empathize with you when they see how much work you did and you were in their corner and you failed, but they know that you failed because of price, not because of effort. They hopefully will have loyalty to give you a shot again when they want to sell. Most. Great question. And you guys can Google that property if you want. And if you guys got offers, I know we can't offer broker compensation to the buyer, but the rumor is she's willing to give 3%. What other questions we got, team? This is awesome. Thank you for your participation and your feedback and investing this 30 minutes with me, team. I appreciate you. What else we got? We got time for one more question. All right, I'm gonna just throw this out there for you guys. We're all in this business together, though we're here to build our businesses individually. We're in this business together. So do me a favor, do your other professionals in the same trade a favor and follow one another, give love to one another. When you find their names on social media, on Instagram, help put their listings on blast if you don't have a great deal of inventory. Comment on their post to share the love. We want to lift ourselves by winning as an industry. We already know this industry is saturated. But those that start to work to help one another build and grow, you're going to grow yourself in the process. Fair enough? All right, team, thank you again for the opportunity. Drive safe, and I appreciate those questions. Tarek, Peter, and Tessa, thank you so much. Nazar, I'm going to throw the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sina.
Be safe, team.
Have you guys ever heard of the term, the second mouse gets the cheese? Right? The first mouse dies, but then the trap is, it's no longer going to work anymore, so they get the cheese. And so sometimes the people that do take that strategy that don't have the strength or the ability to be able to get the price reduction before the home expires. Now you can go in and be like, hey, you listed it under, now you can list it properly with me, and you can get that opportunity. So again, people sometimes do list homes, but they don't trust agents. And so you could be that person that gets that opportunity to relist their home after the fact. I think there's lots of opportunity for us to go out there and I like what he said. Listings, what did he say? Listings something. It was like, you need listings listings are king. It's always been, no matter what it is. Stacey, do you know what it is?
List to exist.
List exist. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, have an amazing Thursday. And we'll talk to you guys next week. I hope that you guys find value in this. Please invite others. Again, if you guys want to come to the Thrive event at 5 in May, it is open to all, it's broker agnostic, so anyone can come. They don't have to be part of 5 to come. And it's going to be a blast. And hopefully you guys are there so we can give you guys massive value. Okay. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.